So you're telling me that somebody can get elite levels of fitness doing only 5 dumbbell exercises? Is that what you're telling me?
100%, Joe. 100%. And don't you forget who the boss of this relationship is.
Right.
100%. 5 exercises, change your life completely.
Which 5? Let's go.
Okay.
Let's get into this.
Okay, so go with me for argument's sake, though, right?
Okay.
I realize if we're talking elite level fitness, if we're talking Michael Phelps needs some water. He needs a pool. If you're looking at a world champion powerlifter, yes, they need a barbell to deadlift. But if we're going to talk about what elite level fitness is these days, let's be real. It's looking good naked in the mirror. It's looking good naked for your partner. It's taking off your shirt at the beach and having the other guys say, "Hey man, how much do you bench?" It's having some women oogle you when you're in the produce line, in the produce part of Whole Foods or whatever. Like, that's what people want. 99.9% of people. So if you can agree with me on that point, if the goal is just to look good, Joe, can I do it with dumbbells? I just want to look good.
Yeah. Well, and again, like you said, Michael Phelps is a great example because that's very specific. If you want to be an elite swimmer, you got to swim. If you want to be an elite powerlifter, you got to powerlift. But if we're just talking about the average guy, like being elite, there's not a huge demand on performance there. The appearance really is the separator.
Okay, so I'm gonna take that a step further now. Now that we've established performance, right?
Sure.
What if we talk about fighting or MMA? Now you have a massive fighting background.
Mm-hmm.
Could I get fit for Taekwondo with dumbbells only?
Yeah, I mean, assuming you're also doing Taekwondo, yes.
Yeah, I'm not talking about the skill part. Could I build enough strength conditioning with dumbbells only to be an Olympic level competitor in Taekwondo?
To be effective, sure.
Right? Because I'll tell you right now, from someone, and check the resume, from someone that fought in the UFC, won submission of the night in the UFC, I think I could do a dumbbell only program and be fit enough to fight in the UFC. In fact, when I was fighting in the UFC, I was regarded as one of the more fit people in UFC history. I was only doing body weight.
Right.
So what are we talking elite? Because I would say 5-minute rounds in the UFC is pretty elite.
Yeah, that's a tough call for most people.
Right. Okay. So go with me now, dumbbells. Why did I pick dumbbells? Because for a lot of people, Joe, they can't or won't, or it's not worth it to work out from home. You got to understand something, and I'll use your locale. From your house, how far of a drive is the closest Lifetime?
Like 20 minutes.
Okay, so you've got 40 minutes of travel time before you can even train. Like with kids, with a wife, with a husband, with a job, with all these things, like you might not have that much time to go. In fact, you can get a better workout in that 40 minutes of drive time, right? Like if you had stuff at home. So that's why I'm going with dumbbells. I think they're accessible, and the number one predictor of fitness in today's world is consistency. So I'm going to give you 5 exercises, and your job is to debunk this, all right?
All right, here we go.
And then if you stay tuned, I'll give you a workout at the end too that you can do to crush you. So the first one, Joe, I think it's really important to push in some type of horizontal plane. I don't even know if that's the right terms because I hate all the science stuff, but pushing in a horizontal plane. So I am going to pick the dumbbell bench press.
I mean, hard to beat, sure.
Okay. I think you're going to build an adequate...
It's a compound movement, so I like that.
Yep.
Right?
Okay.
You can really push a lot of weight with that, so I like that. And being dumbbells, there's, you have 2 implements versus just a straight barbell or a machine. There's a lot to stabilize against. So you're actually doing a lot to get that movement.
Read my mind. 360-degree stabilization. The one drawback to push-ups is because you're on a flat surface and both hands are even, you don't get that. So bench press is number 1. I want you to do some dumbbell bench press.
Okay, I'm with you so far.
Okay, number 2. People don't do enough pulling. They have shoulder problems because we push, we don't pull. And if we're using dumbbells, I want bent rows. Bent over,
I can't argue that.
Rows, squeeze to the armpit, squeeze the lats, work the teres, work the rhomboids, the rear delts, whatever you want to call them. Bobby Maximus, why didn't you pick pull-ups? You do 50 pull-ups a day? Because most of y'all can't do pull-ups. Like, realistically, Joe, and I don't know if your partner is going to let you have a pull-up station in your living room, right? Like, if you're in a small apartment, that might not happen. But dumbbells you can stick in the closet, you probably allow those. So
you can scale that, too. Like, you can do 5-pound dumbbells. Anybody can bent row 5-pound dumbbells. but it's really hard to have like a true assisted pull-up machine available. And bands are not that. Bands help you the most when you need the help the least. And they help you the least where you really need the help to finish. So it's really hard to rely on that. And so having a true like counterbalanced machine, that's even less likely than just having a pull-up rig available.
You got it. So bent rows, are we 2 for 2 right now?
2 for 2. I'm on board. I love a good push and a pull workout.
All right. Criminally underrated in the workout community is pressing overhead. And you know why people don't press overhead? Because they can't lift a lot of weight. You can bench press a lot. You can pull a lot. Overhead becomes a real problem. You want to know why a lot of people have shoulder problems? They don't do enough. So I'm going to go with the Arnold press or an overhead press. Just some standing overhead press with dumbbells.
Yeah, I'm all for that. And I'm probably biased because I do work in film. And so I find myself holding a boom pole in a lot of really uncomfortable positions. So being comfortable overhead is a really, really important part of my regular workout. So I'll agree. Overhead pressing, underrated, underutilized.
Yep. Healthy shoulders, great for sport performance, especially elite sport performance. And having big, round, capped shoulders, great for normal human performance of looking good naked. Right? Okay. Good. We can't skip leg day. I don't want to look like an orange on 2 toothpicks. I do not want to look like a Big Mac on 2 French fries. And when it comes to sport performance, it's all from like, I'm going to say like the bottom of your rib cage to like the top of your thigh. It's legs, 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 legs. So I want some dumbbell front squats. I love the front squat. It's going to put a little bit of activation on the core, and you can push a lot of weight on a leg press, but if you don't have a well-developed core, you are not going to perform well in a sport. So I'm going to pick the dumbbell front squat, Joe.
Yeah, I can get on board with that. The rack position is really key. I prefer front squats versus back squats just for overall athleticism. I think more people are limited by their core strength than their leg strength. And as soon as you start with those dumbbell front squats, like you are going to find out that it's the core that gives out first. You start getting that backache when you're doing those front squats, it's because your abs are just not strong enough. And again, if we're looking for movements that are going to check a lot of boxes, right? Truly functional movements, like it doesn't get much better than that.
Okay. I'm 4 for 4. This is why I am the best in the world at what I do, Joe. Number 5 is going to be the reverse lunge.
All right.
Now,
okay.
Why the reverse lunge? Because every sport is predicated. We talk about your fighting background. Is Taekwondo single leg, or is it like, what do you call it, bilateral, unilateral movement? Like,
it's funny because in my mind, when you say that, I'm like, well, every kick is a single leg. It's not like you're doing like full on drop kicks. Like one leg's on the ground, one's in the air, right?
Football, are you better off for football to have single leg strength or non-single leg strength?
With all the change of direction and the accelerating you have to do, it's got to be single leg.
How about soccer?
Same.
How about baseball?
Any field sport, right? Yeah.
Like we could name every sport on the world and it's all single leg. So
why would basketball? You say, well, you know, 2 feet to slam dunk a basketball, but watch these guys. They're more often than not jumping off of one leg anyway.
You know, it's actually funny, Joe. In the NFL, guys are generally better at 2-foot jumping. In the NBA, it's 1-foot jumping by a mile. So so hear me out. It's more functional, but also you mentioned the thing about you don't like back, not that you don't like back squats, you prefer front squats because back squats can really load your spine or whatever, but single leg stuff takes that away completely, right? And I like the reverse lunge better than the front lunge because the front lunge, people get lazy and they like fall into the lunge and gravity does the work. With the reverse lunge, you have to do the work yourself. So I'm going to say reverse lunges.
Yeah, so I like reverse lunges.
Those are your 5. You use some bench press, some bent row, some Arnold press, some front squat, some reverse lunge. Now somebody's like, hey, what about biceps? What about triceps? Well, sure, I mean, maybe, but you told me I could only pick 5. And I'm going to value the compound movements over those auxiliary movements.
Yeah.
The other thing is if you bench press all the time and bent row all the time, I promise you won't have little stick arms.
Yeah.
When you're doing bent rows, your biceps are working. When you're doing bench press, your triceps are working. Now, maybe they're not targeted like a rope pull down or something, but they still are working. So you can almost skip those completely. There was years I didn't do biceps and triceps.
Well, there comes a time, right? Like, but you got to cross that bridge when you get to it. Like, if you're bench pressing, like, insane amounts of weight, and the only thing that's holding you back is that you haven't done enough bicep curls, well, then you add bicep curls to your program. But you got to get there first.
But I would rank all of these over. And if I was to add a sixth, I probably still wouldn't add biceps and triceps. I would add another leg. I would add another upper body workout. So I would say, Joe, if you did these 5 exercises and that's all you did, you could get incredibly fit.
Ridiculously fit, sure.
And the bonus for this episode is the workout you're going to do. So I just featured this on a YouTube video that's going bonkers right now. People are going crazy over it. It's 30 minutes, Joe. You're going to do 5 5-minute rounds with a minute rest in between each. That's your workout.
Okay.
Right? It's going to take exactly 29 minutes. So this is your 30-minute workout. You're going to do 5 rounds of 30 seconds of max rep bench press, 30-second rest. So 30-second rest, 30-second, 30-second rest, 5 minutes. Max reps. If you were getting like 20 bench press reps in 30 seconds, that's 100 reps for that 5-minute block. You get a minute rest to drink some water, cue up a new song on your playlist, pray to whatever maker you believe in. I don't care what you do. Scroll Instagram. I'll tell
you got to go sit in the corner and get some tips from your coach.
Fair enough. That works too. Then you're going to do 5 minutes of 30-30 bent rows. You're going to rest a minute. 30-30 Arnold press or shoulder press. You're going to rest for a minute. 5 minutes of the front squat version of that. You're going to rest a minute. 5 minutes of the reverse lunge. You're going to rest for a minute. I promise you, if you do that 3 times a week for 30 minutes, and the other days you manage to do some cardio.
Yeah.
In a year, if you're listening to this podcast, I promise you, you'd be way more fit than you are now.
Well, I'll tell you what, if you were completely unfit and you started this and you went out and you did, 10 bench presses in 30 seconds at a fairly light weight, and then the next week, maybe you got 11, maybe you got 12, maybe you went up weight, maybe 5 pounds every other week, every third week. Even so, by the end of the year, you would be moving a lot of load. You would be doing tons of work, and you would be a much fitter individual than when you started. So you could start this at a very easy pace, at a very simple kind of feel it out. I always tell people almost like a dress rehearsal. Go to the gym, put the clothes on, grab the pink dumbbells, and just kind of go through it. But if you push just a little bit more every time you do that workout, man, you could move mountains.
And I don't know what kind of weight would challenge me on this, like maybe 70s, maybe 60s, maybe 50s. Like, I don't know. But you could start with 5s and then graduate to 10s and then 15s. And if you started this from 5s from absolute scratch right now, in a year, you're doing this with 40s or 50s, you're a really fit, strong, capable human being. So there you go. 5 dumbbell exercises. The only 5 dumbbell exercises you need ever again for the rest of your miserable life. And that's it, Joe. That's a Be Real podcast. Listen, I struggle with this name. The Maximus Podcast, I like, but it's like, I don't know how sellable it is. Be Real, whatever.
Marketing.
The reason we call it the Be Real podcast is we're just going to give you real advice. No gimmicks, no hacks, no 3 easy payments at $9.99. No BS in the fitness industry. Like you're going to get a snatched waist or you're going to get fit doing the absolute minimum. Like just real advice from real guys that are actually really fit. So that's all I got for today. Oh, one more thing. Take your greasy little fingers, subscribe, turn your notifications on, you can read the show notes, send it to your unfit friends, send it to your fit friends, share it on your social media. That's our ask. We don't charge you enough for this show. It takes a lot of work, a lot of production value here. You can see all the magic. You don't even know. There's lights, there's producers, there's people. I'm reading
cameras
off
and microphones,
prompter, the whole deal, right? So you can support us by sharing the show. We'll see you for the next one.